Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for tonight's main event. First, on his way to the ring from the UK, the master of MS Paint Angry Rants, it's GradeAUnderA. And his opponent, from New Jersey, he's the master of reactions, but he also does unboxing, story times, Q&A, weightlifting videos, and other things as well. Tyrone Magnus, and a battle to determine who is going to cause the least bullshit on the internet. So it's finally happened. GradeA has dropped his video explaining his beef with Tyrone, and Tyrone has made his response. Now let's have a look at them closely. GradeA's video has been broken into two parts, and he's going to go through all the different conditions of the terms of service for when you sign up to YouTube. In this first part, he mainly deals with copyright, and he's decided to use Tyrone Magnus as his main example. So both GradeA's video and Tyrone's response deal with the murky web that is fair use and copyright. Both legally nebulous terms, it seems. As for GradeA's beef with Tyrone, what it ultimately boils down to is GradeA was pissed off that Tyrone had uploaded his video without permission to do a reaction and was making money from it, and GradeA regards that as theft. He points out that for the duration of time that Tyrone had the video uploaded and monetized, he was making money. We don't know how much money was made by the video, Tyrone's not saying. GradeA guesstimates that it would be about $300. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you multiply it by the number of videos that get reacted to without permission and get monetized, well, it can add up to a sizable chunk of potential earnings that are lost by each individual who has their video reacted to in this way. Now in GradeA's video he does point out that he doesn't have a problem with all reaction channels, just some of them and the way that they operate. And Tyrone points out that he's actually been asked to make some of his reactions. But of course, GradeA didn't give permission for his video to be used. And the argument going back and forth at the moment is, do you actually need to ask permission to use a video for a reaction, or does it fall under fair use? Some would argue that it's transformative because the full screen picture is then shrunk down to the corner and you have the reaction overlaid around the rest of the picture. That's very dodgy, to say the least. Look at it this way. The big networks and movie studios wouldn't tolerate if you posted full episodes or movies and justified that by having someone reacting around the edge of the picture. So why should it be any different for people who create content on YouTube? Can you not class the YouTubers as TV studios or movie studios in miniature? If the big studios don't stand for it, why should the YouTubers? Now GradeA's video does go into great length explaining what he believes to be Tyrone's lies. Unfortunately, a lot of GradeA's claims aren't substantiated. There's supposition and there's pure hearsay in some cases. It doesn't help that Tyrone will neither confirm nor deny that he made money off of GradeA's videos. And in principle, it doesn't matter if he made $1 or 50 cents or $300 or $3,000. It makes no odds. It's not good practice. You are making money off other people's work. Now, if it's with permission, hey, knock yourself out. Now, GradeA points out that what basically happens when you make a third-party copyright claim is the person who uploaded the cloned video stops receiving the revenue stream, and instead the money is directed back to the original poster. So yes, Tyrone possibly made money on that video of GradeAUnderA's for the first 4 months up until the third-party copyright claim was placed. Then, from that point, the revenue stream should have defaulted back to GradeA. Now, around this time, Tyrone decided he was actually going to delete GradeA's video. He had heard, supposedly from Akasan, that GradeA wasn't happy about it, so Tyrone decided to be magnanimous, Tyrone Magnanimous, and take it down. Unfortunately, this was about the same time that GradeA was putting in his third-party copyright claim. So, to GradeA's eyes, it seems like Tyrone wasn't happy that GradeA was making a third-party claim, thus blocking Tyrone from making any more money from the video, so Tyrone took it down in a fit of pique. And that's a supposition. We don't know one way or another. It's unfortunate that in both GradeA's video and Tyrone's response, it basically comes down to one of them saying he's lying and the other person saying, no, he's lying. And in some cases, there's very little, if any, proof to back up either claim, other than people saying, well, he said, or they did this, or they did that, or they might have done this, or they might have done that. So, from a legal standpoint, it's a bit of a weak case. But the principles of this whole situation are important. At the moment, YouTube is a bit of a Wild West frontier town. Yes, there are laws in place, but the sheriff isn't always able to enforce them. So, the bandits run wild. And the bandits in this case are the reaction channels. They are going around using other people's content for their own monetary gain. And yes, they can argue the point of they're making promotion and blah 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 blah. GradeA reiterates some of his points from why reaction channels are shit as to why he doesn't like reaction videos. And of course, he cites Tyrone Magnus' reaction to why reaction channels are shit. So GradeA points out that Tyrone's reaction to that video was him basically sitting there for 16 minutes, not really saying a word. Well, in fact, he does say 7 words, and they're not really related to the content of the video. And this is an issue with a lot of the reaction channels where they basically just sit there and stare blankly at the screen. Of course, the reactors would argue that staring blankly at the screen is a reaction. And despite of their recent troubles, the Fine Brothers can still be looked to as a pinnacle of how to do a reaction videos. But of course, they do it very differently to other reaction channels. They can pick and choose from the reactions of multiple people to build up a better quality reaction video. So there aren't too many bits of people staring blankly at the screen. Of course, they also follow good practice by asking permission before they shoot their reaction videos. Now, one other point about the money. People should be compensated for the time and effort that they put into their videos. In the case of GradeA's video, it takes them quite a long time to animate and edit his videos together. Of course, some animators would argue that his animations are quite simple and don't take as much work as theirs. But of course, GradeA's videos still take more time than someone like myself just sitting and talking to the camera. So every view that GradeA or any other content creator gets is important because it gives them financial recompense towards the work that they have put into their video. So why should they tolerate someone sweeping in, taking their content, putting it on their own channel, transforming it, and making their own money from it? And yes, some of the reaction channels do put some work into their effort. H3H3 is one example, and the Fine Brothers. There's lots of editing involved, and there's high production values. But do the reactors deserve to be financially compensated in the same way? Now, Tyrone has about 4,000 videos on his channel. About half of them are reaction videos. Does he deserve to be financially compensated? Yes. But not for his reaction videos. Or at least, not for the ones that he hasn't asked permission for. Of course, Tyrone says that if reactions disappeared, his channel would be fine. So Tyrone, why don't you stop doing reactions? If you've got enough of a fan base, and if you've got your charisma and humour and intelligence and everything else that you claim to have, why don't you bite the bullet and stop doing reactions and just rely on your own original content? And that goes for every other reactor who is out there. Why don't you? And of course the answer is because it's a lot easier to do reaction videos. Tyrone has 4,000 videos on his channel, and half of them are reaction videos. In Tyrone's response to GradeA's video, he claims he's not taking money off anyone. And technically you could argue that is the case. He's not physically taking the money from them, but he is stopping them from earning any more potential income by monetizing the video. Of course, it isn't too long before the videos descend into a slanging match, with both Tyrone and GradeA showing tit for tat the insults that they levelled against each other. And then of course it starts to get confusing because there are responses to responses to responses to responses to responses. Let's not forget that before GradeA had even released his video, Tyrone had made 3, count them, 3 speculative videos as to what GradeA was talking about. And of course Tyrone released them far enough in advance that GradeA was able to respond to those speculative videos before he actually finished his video in the first place. So then you had Tyrone responding to GradeA's response to Tyrone's speculation. So as for Tyrone's response, he listens to GradeA's concerns and he answers them as he goes along. But of course there's a lot of silent pauses while he's looking at GradeA's video, and we can't hear anything because he's got his earbuds in. And for some strange reason, before he even starts the video, he talks about his sick dog. Are you trying for the sympathy vote there, Tyrone? I just don't get it. I mean, I know that pets equal views. And there's a fair bit of slanging and point scoring. Tyrone had mentioned that he'd heard that GradeA had used researchers, and GradeA points out that, well, he may well have used researchers for some of his videos, but why should that matter? Tyrone argues about GradeA's lack of professionalism, and GradeA points out, well, he's not really a professional. Of course, anytime GradeA brings up what could be considered a fact, Tyrone's response is, he's lying. And of course, sometimes GradeA brings up ideas that can't necessarily be proven, and Tyrone also responds with, he's lying. And GradeA has responded to some of Tyrone's accusations by saying, he's lying, which then Tyrone responds to with, he's lying. So you get this back and forth, he's lying, he's lying, he's lying, he's lying. In some cases, neither of them showing any evidence either way. Tyrone tries to argue that GradeA's use of little snippets in his video shouldn't be classed as fair use if his use of the full videos isn't classed as fair use. Or if it is okay that GradeA uses little snippets, then it should be okay that Tyrone and the rest of them use a little bit more. 16 minutes more. Unfortunately, Tyrone doesn't acquit himself very well in this video. He says he's being calm and collected, when he steadily looks more and more like he's going to turn green, rip off his shirt and hulk out. To his credit though, he does admit that he is going to look into copyright law and fair use, and if GradeA's argument can be proven, then he will change the way that he does his reaction videos, and he will go down to using clips rather than the full-length version of the videos. So, good for you, Tyrone, if you do that. That said, he still doesn't quite make the connection between the number of third-party claims that he has had on his videos and fair use. Hopefully, someone can elucidate him on those ideas. Ultimately, this whole situation is mired in a legal mess. No one is 100% sure what classes as fair use and how copyright actually works. GradeA's video, for the large part, is supported by guesswork and supposition, which, while well spoken, doesn't support his claim from a legal standpoint. Tyrone's refutation, though, is he's lying, he's lying, he's lying, without any evidence to support him. So in some ways, this whole beef has descended into something of the level of two kids standing on opposite sides of the schoolyard going nah, 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 nah at each other. GradeA does bring up some issues, though, that do need to be looked into further. In the meantime, though, there is still the second part of the video to look forward to, and we will also see if GradeA will respond to Tyrone's response. And somewhere down the line, we may see if Tyrone will change how he does his reaction videos. And if Tyrone changes, hey, maybe that will influence other reactors to change their ways too, which is only a good thing. And if it happens, well, there'll be a bit less bullshit on the internet. I'm Kirk, and I'll speak with you again in the next video.